yo, this is so dope. Like we done been all over enjoying what God doing and this and that, and it's so dope. Let's get back to you a little bit. So music wise, you were doing the music. You fifth grade, you wrote that one, and no one thought you could sing for real. Then you started singing, and how did you go from fifth grade to now I'm about to work on some music like for real to release something or even like doing shows and events.
Right. So it's
Excuse me.
it's a it's still technically a thing, but we just haven't really gathered in a while. But it was kind of like this open mic type of forum called Bloodshed.
Okay.
And so I remember my cousin, I told you I used to sing background for her. Name is Donita Dawson.
Are you serious?
You just scared me, yes.
You said I scared you. No, Donita. So my wife designed one of her CD covers.
Repent and Believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. She's actually on one of my albums.
Okay.
At least one.
Wait.
And every time it's so anointed, every time I hear it, like I can just go into worship. Oh my gosh, she can usher in the presence. Shout out to my sister.
Wait, yeah. Y'all do have a song together. Hold on.
Yes, we do.
See how God worked. Oh man, that's crazy.
Well, here's the thing. I told her on this particular, because just like what's his name said, everything's strategic. Unless I'm hooping or just doing something because I'm just trying to have some fun or relax. If it's something I'm doing for the kingdom, then I'm trying to do it the way God wants it to be done. Mm-hmm. He's not gonna give me every single like direction. Like I'm not gonna, okay, do I wear the red shirt today or the blue shirt? Like Lord, what do I do? Not that. Yeah. But as far as execution goes, I feel like He has purpose behind what He's having me do. So when I came to her, I said, sis, look, I want you on this project. I want the anointing that you carry and what God has in that voice and in that heart and that mind to be present on this project. I said, you can pick the song. Mm-hmm. I said, I don't even care what you sing. Yeah. I said, you pick the song, bring that joint. And at the time, this was crazy, right? At the time, hold on, because it was a super popular song out at the time. Everybody was singing it. I can't remember, but I'll tell you this: it put you in the mind of like when we fall down, like when everybody was singing that because Donnie McClurkin killed it and everybody was singing something like that. Like it was a song that everybody was singing. So she brought to the studio that and another song, and I was like, I ain't even heard of that one. Yeah, what that sound like? Yeah, man, when she started singing, I was like that one.
Put it on wax.
That one. And when I tell you to this day, like if I throw that joint on, man, just I can feel the presence of God. And that's what it's about. Like it's not about anything other than that, connecting people with the kingdom, connecting people with the Lord and allowing them to have an experience of Christ. And so that's crazy. So now back to, so that's definitely 100% my sister. You can text her right now. Like, guess who I'm sitting next to? So what was you just saying about her? Because when you said her name, I'm just like, wait, what? So we're talking about music. Okay.
I remember what I was saying. So she actually crazy. So she has, I used to sing background for her. Okay. So I literally, when you talk about worship, like she didn't teach me how to worship. God gave me that gift. God taught me that. But she was instrumental in cultivating my knowledge of that. So she introduced me to the kingdom of God and my understanding of God expanded. See, that's what I'm saying. God's so intentional when I can get into that whole thing. But anyway, she has a curriculum called Worship Unprecedented. It's a book and it talks about the kingdom of God, what it means, the government, all those different things, and what it means in terms of worship. And so I remember I used to go over her house and I would she would do the classes with me, and then we would do activations to kind of help me understand a little bit more about the prophetic and to help me hear, God. And so she would teach classes and different things like that. But there was the Bloodshed, which was an open forum. It was kind of like a shed where musicians, singers, rappers, poets, artists all get together just to glorify God. There was no set schedule. There was no set agenda. And we would do it at Mount Zion and Woodlawn. Okay. And so she took me to one. And I remember she took me to one, and I got up there and I sung Tasha Cobb's For Your Glory. And I remember I got up there and I said, well, yeah, I'm going to sing Tasha Cobb's For Your Glory and really just this song. And I started going into this whole thing of how we do as artists with what this song means
in that little mini sermon.
And I said, y'all know this song. And so the guy that was playing, I remember after that, they came up to me. It was a couple different people who were over it. And they said, we want to work with you. And so I had, up at this point, I've had tons of people tell me, we want to work with you. But this wasn't the first time that I went to the studio, but this was the first time that I really went to the studio. And so I was maybe around 14, 15 then. So I started building a relationship with them. That was what I was doing on Saturday nights. I would go to Bloodshed. I had a friend. He would come with me from time to time. And we kind of had a little thing going where we sung together. And so when I connected with the musicians, they had a studio over on Woodford Road in Silverton. That's like Silverton, Pleasant Ridge?
Okay.
Like Silverton. But I think it's called Pleasant Ridge. But anyway.
Yeah, that's in the same area.
Right. So I remember going to the studio, and remember I told you I used to like spend hours at home writing these raps.
Yeah.
And so I remember I took that to the studio, and I would tell them like, I felt like I had to record everything in one take, and different things like that. And so I basically told them I had this idea to work on an EP called Clouds and Palm Trees.
Okay.
And so it was like just this little fictional world that I had created, had this whole little concept, and I had these songs. And so one of the songs, which is out now, it's called Underrated, was the first song that I fully recorded and like wrote, and they produced the music for it. But with that, I remember, and I actually just seen the memories because it was in January, my parents had came. And so that was when things kind of really took off. And I was a senior in high school at that point.
Okay.
But I met them when I was 14. I started working with them consistently. Wow. And I would go and I would record things, but it never was really anything solid. I was just going.
Yeah.
And then when I recorded,
building them reps up.
Right. When I went in and recorded Underrated, that was the first song that was like, okay,
this is good to go.
We're gonna do this.
Yeah.
And so, and I do really quick want to plug 1G's EP that he is about to drop. I believe it's called Finishing What I Started. I know that's one of the songs that I'm on, but that's what the gist of his album, his EP is about, is finishing what you started. And he goes through the journey of how he had to finish what he started, different things like that. And so now me being 23 years old and understanding where I was at, where I went to, where I come from, different things like that, I realized a lot of things that about myself that I needed to finish or that I need to finish. But just being grateful for the experience nonetheless that I went through, the journey. We talked about enjoying the journey. So being excited to see what that journey looks like now.
Right. Now that's dope. And we done plugged so many people that we got to tell them, make sure you watch this episode because your name was mentioned during this interview. All right, that's what's up.
Tag y'all.
Yes. Okay, so tell the people what you're doing now in the schools. Like what's going on in the schools?
Yeah, so I work for an organization most people know as City Gospel Mission. We have several different cause areas, and one of the cause areas is Jobs Plus, where we help people obtain employment. So anything from resume writing or building to interview prep to if you need interview attire. But I was brought on as a career advocate to actually go into the high schools with a high school program and teach seniors and juniors career development and life skills. Nice. And so that has took its own path. I've created my own little friends. I have a friend at one of the schools that we're at. And he was like, can you come talk to my kids? And he teaches the middle school. So 8th, 7th, 8th, and freshman and 10th graders. So 7th through 10th. And I was like, yeah, I got you. And this is my second year doing that. But basically what we do is we go in every other week. We have a lesson that we teach them. And we talk about the power skills or the soft skills, most people know them by, that kids need to have in order to go into the workforce. So everything is not hard skills. Everything is not, I have to go here and get my credentials, or I have to go here. No. How you talk to people. Are you punctual? I don't really feel like I can like talk about that because I'm not as punctual. But I still
You're a work in progress.
I still be telling them like it's important to be punctual because look, I done been places where I went on time and I felt really, really bad and I wasn't able to do a super good job. But in terms of soft skills or power skills, I really try to put an emphasis on character and integrity, who you are as a person, and prioritizing building that up right now as a young person. That way you're not trying to get it later on in life.
Yeah, that's good. And that'll cover so many other areas too, right? Like when you walk in integrity, it just naturally will take care of other decisions maybe that people are struggling to make. What should I do here? Like integrity says that every single time, you know, so it's like it'll save you time. So we're back. Sure, we're back. And where were we? What were we talking about? Music.
Yeah.
We're talking about the one project that was like, yep, this is a good one. We need to do something with this one. No, we were talking about you in the schools.
Oh, right.
And the jobs and helping them, preparing the people, all that good stuff.
Integrity. That was the last thing we talked about, how integrity will make us pick the right choice.
So we're back talking about integrity. And where were we at?
So yeah, integrity is important. A lot of kids, they don't know what it means to be integrous, I guess is the right word, or to have integrity because the people in their life don't express the importance of integrity or they don't have integrity. And sometimes integrity is doing what you said you were going to do. You know, following up, following through, coming through, valuing and being present and encouraging and uplifting, you know, their character. They don't know what it means to have good character because they're role models. And a lot of times it ain't even the people in their home, it's the people that they listen to, it's the people that they watch on TV, where it's like, I do what I want to do. And it's crazy because even with working in the inner city schools, and we work with some, like, I wouldn't say the private schools, but Catholic schools such as like Purcell Marian and different like DePaul. DePaul's not really an issue, but with Purcell, in some of the cases, I've had conversations or I've observed conversations with the students and Justice, who is also my coworker, my partner, literally. In Christ, we do everything together. But having certain conversations where there was kind of like a pushback, and it's like, you would think because you go to such a prestigious school that you would carry yourself different, but just because you go to the school does not take away from your background where you come from, you know? And so it's not even the fact that they don't have effective role models in terms of having good character and integrity. It's what they consume online. You know, we live in a very much get it by any means necessary. I don't owe nobody nothing. I'm protecting my peace. I got boundaries. I'm all of this terminology that comes from mental health culture that really creates like this false illusion that people owe you something when they really don't. You know, we talk all the time about how you have to we talk all the time about how you have to give respect in order to get respect. And a lot of people don't understand that concept because I don't need respect to scroll on TikTok, to laugh, to develop what I feel is my self-worth. I don't need to get respect because I'm comfortable in my own skin. But it's like, that's not going to work when we talk about power skills, when we talk about professionalism and going out into the workforce. That's not going to work because what's common to our culture is not common to the professional culture. So we still got big wigs and you know, we talk, one of the examples that we give all the time is about tattoos. We got seniors with tattoos on their necks, on their hands, on their face. And it's like, well, I just liked it. I thought it was cool. And so because you can work at McDonald's or work at Wendy's or work at a fast food restaurant and they don't care because they really just need the help. And no shade, I'm not saying it's a shade, but they don't care. They overlook it because they really need the help. You said that you want to be an accountant. You have every reason and right and opportunity. Like it's nothing between you but an opportunity to become an accountant. We want to see you occupy those spaces as a minority and different things like that. But you could be qualified out the door, and you walk in and you have an interview with an exec, and they say, well, I really don't want this person talking to my brokers because they got tattoos on their face, they got tattoos on their neck, on their hands. And you
won't get it.
You've created this like preconceived notion and this bias, and it's not really on you all the way, because that person, that exec, should understand like they shouldn't have that judgmental mindset and different things like that. But sometimes you do have to play by the rules to get in the door, to break the rules, and to change the narrative of things. Yes, some things are becoming more progressive and different things like that, but we try to help them to understand that your first impression is everything. How you show up is everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes resources is limited, but there are people in your corner. Number one, us as Jobs Plus, we're in your corner to say, hey, you got any questions? You need any type of resources? Like, for example, my dad is a personal stylist. And I know my daddy gets so tired of me because I just offer his services up for free. Like, I expect my dad to go to his stores and get 4 boys an outfit for free.
Okay, so hold on. When you say stylist, what do you mean? What does he do?
So he's like a professional stylist, a man dressing on Instagram. Follow him. But he's dressed people for the weddings. He's dressed people for daddy and daughter dances.
Is it always like a formal?
He more so does do like dressing up. He doesn't really do much of like, oh, I'm just gonna dress you for a regular day. He could if he wanted to, but he more so focuses on like suits and stuff like that. Okay, and just kind of like, I don't want to say night attire, but like
an
formal,
evening out on the town. Or,
yeah. So and my dad, he loves to shop. That's like literally his like thing. Shopping and cooking. He also has a catering business called A Man Cooking.
Okay.
But
give him his contact. Hit him up. What's his number? He got a website or what?
So Instagram is your best bet to reach out to him.
And what is he on Instagram?
A Man Dressing.
Dressing.
AMANDRESSING. A Man Dressing.
Perfect. And then that's for the clothes. What about the catering?
So you could DM me on there too if you need.
Oh, that's his. Cater. Okay, that's how to connect with him. Gotcha. Yeah. Shout out, Dad.
Right, big hen dog. But we literally had competitions last year, and it was a couple of guys that needed clothes. Called my dad up and said, "Hey, Dad, before you come home, you stop at the store. Can you get this? This is their sizes." Because we had 2 teachers. They came down and they were looking through stuff, and they took a whole bunch of stuff back. And I was like, "All right, Dad, this is what I need." And he got them together. I took pictures of them. He always like, take a picture, like take this picture. So I took pictures
like
of
that. That's what's up.
Yeah, he did. And I'm not trying to, again, toot my own horn, but I gave him his money back because he was like, yeah, it's going to be that. I said, Dad, I'm not charging these kids for these clothes. Even to the point where I'm like, okay, Dad, I've been kind of contemplating this. This is just something that's been in my mind of like, I want to build a closet specifically for the kids. So get this size, get that size, because the guys are typically skinnier. Look for this, look for that. But something that caters specifically to the students that we work with, because we get a lot of donations, but most of the donations is from like older gentlemen who, maybe lost some weight, or we've had some people who their husband or their brother, somebody passed away, so they came and donated their suits and stuff. Good quality stuff,
Right.
But we we want to leave that to people who come in from off the street and not giving that to the kids, kind of giving something that's more their speed type of thing.
Right, yeah, more modern and current and style and everything too.
Right.
No, that's what's
something
up.
simple, something like,
That's good. That's good. Man, listen, we have been at this thing for a minute now, and it's going good. We probably could keep going. I know we hit an hour. We could probably be going for another hour, especially when you're talking about God, you're talking about family connects, all these other people. But at this point in time, we got to get to the decision. Not LeBron James' decision, but the Win and Play podcast decision, where you get to choose option A or option B. Option A, principals, teachers, and parents, you give them 3 winning plays each, tips, etc. Or option B, where you choose one of them, a principal or principals or teachers or parents, one of them, and give 5 winning plays for them. So which one would you like to tackle?
I'm gonna bring up my handy dandy notepad.
Yeah, get him out.
And that's gonna determine which one I should do. And the handy dandy notepad says we're gonna go with option A. We got
option
something
A
for everybody.
Okay, three for each. All right, let's get it.
Everybody.
Everybody.
So I'm gonna start with the parents. And number one, I would say listen to understand and not to just respond. My mom is a great mom. I love my mama. But our hardest moments is when we share things, and this is something that me and all my siblings can agree on. Our hardest moments is when we share something with her and she immediately just starts going off. And it's like, can you just listen? Can you just slow down and listen? And even as me being an aunt and as me being a godmom and not having any biological kids of my own yet, I observe how my sister and my sister-in-law speaks to their kids and how they listen to their kids. And I tell my sister all the time, I'm like, I wouldn't have said it like that. It would have been my way or the highway in this situation, but you listened to understand and you responded accordingly versus just listening so you could just, I'm an adult and what I say goes.
Do what I say.
Sometimes that is necessary, but you know, with these kids, they want to feel heard, they want to feel listened to. Number two is you are your kids' number one supporter. So always strive to be a safe space and an advocate for your kids and their dreams. You never want to be the first person that denies your kids' aspirations. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to say that. But you never want to be the first person that tells your kid that they can't do something. We hear rappers talk about all the time, oh, a teacher told me I was never going to be nothing. I really had a teacher tell me that I was never going to be nothing. Like, I was nothing. Wow. Never going to be nothing if I kept acting the way that I was acting.
Wow.
And ironically, I was in 4th grade, and then God had something for her because he gave me the voice to sing a couple months later.
You ain't never going to be that. Okay.
But, right, literally. But one of the things is that my mom, even now as an artist, like she listens to my music on repeat. She literally asks me questions. What did you mean when you said this? And like, you know, so what you gonna do with this? She's like literally my number one supporter. And one of the things two things that my mom always told me, she would say, the best thing that I could have given to y'all was Jesus. And then she would always say, you can do anything that you want to do. And
that's good.
Being an adult, like having that, I guess you could say autonomy, you know, and having a relationship with God, trusting God and, you know, building what that looks like for us as a family and as me as an individual, that has literally catapulted me into anything that I want to do. If I want to be a photographer, they helped me buy a new camera. She was like, well, what you gonna do? And you know, how you gonna do this? If I wanted to go to the studio or something like that, well, how much is it? Because me and your dad, we might give you something on your studio session.
That's what's up.
Doing different things like that. And so when I wanted to be a journalist, they went and bought me my first camera, different things like that. Like my parents was my number one supporter and they advocated for my dreams. Even we was in a store, so I went to school for journalism. We were in a store a couple of weeks ago, maybe for Christmas. She was buying stuff last minute. And I told them I wasn't going to be in those stores, but I wound up saying something to her and I said, I made a comment about like not being a journalist or wanting to be a journalist or something like that, wishing that I could go back into the journalism field because I worked as a photographer for a little bit, but transitioned to education, whole big thing. And her response was, "You're not gonna be a journalist no more?" And I was like, well, Mom, kind of past that. Like, I'm trying to go into like education. That's what I was saying. I said, I'm trying to figure out if I go back to school, if I'm gonna go back for education or if I'm going to go back for journalism because I would like to become a journalism teacher. And she said, you're not going to be a journalist no more? I thought that that's what you wanted to do. And I'm like, well, Mom, I've already went to school for that. I've already, operated in that in a little bit. I'm trying to make sure that I'm on the right path and I'm going the way that God wants me to go. But just the fact that like journalism was a dream that I had when I was in 7th grade. You know what I'm saying? That's been a decision that I've had for years. Went to school for it, graduated, double back, did all these different things. And I've moved on, not fully moved on, but I'm doing something different. And for her to still hold space for that dream, it's like, well, I thought you was gonna do that. And it was like, I kind of took a step back, like, should I be trying to go back for education, or should I just go back for journalism and finish my bachelor's, different things like that. So the last one that I want to say is create opportunities that will generate wealth. A lot of times we look for opportunities that's going to generate income. Income comes and goes. Wealth is something that I shouldn't say that. Wealth is something that the system can't take from you. So whatever that looks like, ownership of properties, ownership of your health, ownership of assets, different things like that. Ownership, like we have to get out of the mindset of like, Jordans.
I was just sitting here thinking like Jordans.
Jordans.
Sorry, 1G.
And he go crazy on the Jordans. He every release.
He said, "I got the Jordan socks on." I was like, "Yo, he got the Jordan socks on for real."
One thing that I'll say is like Jordans and sneakers and all that is definitely like a culture. Like that's a culture. Like that's cultural for us as African Americans. Like. I remember how I felt when I got my first pair of Jordans, 6th grade. I remember like.
You was in 6th grade when you got
your? Yeah. For Christmas, I got some Son of Mars, and they was so tough to me.
Oh, and man.
From there, it literally sparked a whole different side of me in terms of fashion and different things like that. I knew every shoe that was coming out. We had an iPad. I used to screenshot the shoes, sneakers app, Go app. It was it's one I'm thinking of. I can't even remember. Flight Club, I think is called.
I remember that one.
Flight Club. They had an app I used to screenshot, go through, learn all the shoes and different things like that. But
real quick, I want to date myself. Have you ever heard, some of the people watching, they're going to know exactly. I know 1G will know what this is. Have you ever heard of a magazine called East Bay?
Yes. Yes. We used to have, my brother used to get East Bay magazines to the house.
Yes.
And I would go through them like, I want this shoe.
Circle this one.
I want that shoe. I gotta look that up if East Bay is even still a website. Oh my God.
I don't know if they are now, but see what that just did? That memory that brought. Yes.
Culture, but I remember that.
And I don't think I bought one pair of shoes off there.
Out of there.
I don't think I got one pair of shoes. Bruh. But I circled a whole 100 of them.
No, literally. I'm trying to think. I couldn't fit men's shoes. And I don't think that they sell grade school. So I never got anything off of there. But like you said, East Bay used to come and it was yellow. It was like a mustard yellow. You got a shirt over there that's the same color as the East Bay logo. Man, what?
Yes, East Bay. Throwback, baby, East Bay.
Man.
Shout out to East Bay.
They just did something.
That's a part of our cultural, I feel like, as I wouldn't even just say African Americans, but anybody that grew up in that time frame where shoes were, because when I was in middle school, that was the thing. You could get this magazine, and I remember people saying like, "Yeah, you ain't getting East Bay." Like, I'm like, huh? It's like, it's a free magazine, bro. Like, I was like, oh, for real? Like, oh, let me get it. And just to get that piece of mail, it was like, that's mine. You know what I mean? And then to look at all these different shoes, it was just like, oh wow.
Yeah. And that really made me fall in love with like shoes. Like I'm, we see a lot of like people wearing like Balenciagas, like chunky sneakers, but for me, the chunky sneakers was like Deion Sanders, the shoes that Kendrick Lamar, I can't think of what the name of them is right now, but he wore them at the Super Bowl.
Did they have the strap on them?
Not those are the Diamond Turfs. It's the one where it's like a claw mark on the side.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of, but that don't have a strap on them. I am not a shoe head.
I don't think so.
Never have been.
I don't think I'm have a strap on. But
like, no, I don't think so. No, I don't. She trying to let me down soft. Like, no, I don't think so.
Let me hit the right one. You ain't there. You there.
I said strap. You knew no. But you're like, nah, I don't think those have the strap.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I say all that to really say, like, I don't want to knock anybody's dreams, but I feel like a lot of us seek to have ownership in spaces that are like get rich quick type schemes, like Airbnb, like that's great, you know, boutiques, that's great, but we're worth so much more than boutiques. Let that be something that a hobby that you pour into, that's funded by something that is an asset. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't express how many times like we go to Black-owned restaurants or Black-owned places, and I love that we have it. I love that it exists, but we go to it and they're only open during certain times, and it's like, this is not something that is really creating like wealth for you. It's just another way, another means that you're making income. Wow. You know, because you're not even open all the time. Right, so like you taking what little you have left.
Probably at a job.
Right.
And when they're not at work,
they're there. Yeah, you know. Yeah. And growing up, I didn't get to experience it. This was before my time, but my grandma and her husband, they had something called the culture shop. So in our basement, we have all these masks and African statues that my dad bought from my grandma. But I'll call my grandma today and ask her something about, like, it'll be like a health little product or something like that. She's like, oh, I used to sell it in the culture shop. And so I shared with my sister and my brother. I'm like, man, I wish that we could bring that back, you know. But even with that, like, it's a means of ownership, but isn't really a means of ownership. There's other ways. Like, let that be something that I do on the side, you know, something that it's like, oh, we got the culture shop down, you know, down where it used to be, whatever the case may be. But having, like, occupy, my whole reason for saying this is we have to occupy the other spaces where there's not a lot of Black people. You know, everybody is space and room for everybody to do whatever it is that they want to do. But we got to get out of like, oh, I'm just opening up a boutique to sell hair. Okay, that's fine and dandy, but what else are you doing? How else are you maximizing on that wealth? You know, how are you creating wealth and not just income?
Yeah.
So for the teachers, some tips that I got for y'all is, number one, sometimes you are a kid's only example of a positive role model. So pour into that image. Representation matters.
That's good. That's good.
When I was in school, we knew the difference between teachers who really felt like it was their calling and their passion to be a teacher, and then teachers who was like, I'm just here for a check. Clearly, because you ain't taught us nothing.
Right.
You in this
Can't wait to get up out of here.
Tripping, trying to cuss us out because we acting a fool, but we acting a fool because you acting a fool. You know what I'm saying? What you see is what you saw. What you see is what you get, because we mirroring you. You know, and that's not always the case, but really pour into how you show up. You know, are you showing up in sweatpants and a sweatshirt and it just is what it is? Or are you showing up because you showing up in a nice shirt and some slacks because you want to be here, you know? Right. There's a difference. So pour into your self-image, whatever that looks like, because you do have a place in the education system, and there is a life that you will impact. And whether or not you're on the good impact side or the bad impact side is up to you. So the second one is, your breakthrough is in relationships. The most effective relationships that most effective situations that I've had with students is the ones that I built relationships with. You don't have to force yourself on the kids like, oh, I'm trying to build a relationship with you, and she just won't.
Come hang out with me.
Right. You know, she just won't take to it. But having those boundaries of like, you know, you're an adult, I'm a kid, is definitely necessary, but you can still build an effective relationship through that. And they'll open up over time, as long as you create that that open dialogue, and you're not like you just do whatever you want to do. Have a boundary, but prioritize the opportunities for relationships, I would say. And then the last one is prioritize self-care. Pour in, like I just talked about pouring into your self-image, but pour into yourself as a person. Like, don't just dumb yourself down to being a teacher. And really, I'm going to pause on that and I'm going to go to the principles and I'm going to double back on that because I feel like it's applicable to all three. So let's move on to the principles. Principles, as the head of education, you set the tone and the expectations of success. So you're literally like the balance between the teachers, the parents, and the school and different things like that. So you set the tone. If you come in like you don't play, then that's what it is. It's gonna go over well with some people. It might not go over well with some people. But if you come in as a doormat, people gonna do whatever they want to do. So if you have an expectation of success and you're able to articulate that, you're able to have a vision that people can follow, that people can buy into, you'll have greater success as a leader. There's a quote that I want to read by Rosalind Carter. It says, "A leader takes people where they want to go. A great leader takes people where they don't necessarily want to go, but ought to be." And so same thing. I was having a conversation with two gentlemen earlier, and one of the things that I wanted to bring up is how people say that we are not to be thermometers, but we are to be
thermostats.
Thermostats, right? I just lost my train of thought that quick. But saying that to say, like, when you walk into a room, again, going back to setting the tone, setting the expectation, different things like that. Just because your teacher's having a bad day don't mean that your day got to be bad. No, how can I encourage you? How can I uplift you? Or how can I share in this space with you of what you're going through? Same with the parents. If they come in and they advocate for their kids, like I just said, they need to come in and advocate for their kids. It's, you stand in them within that space. Okay, this is what our policies is. This is how we can show up for your kid as well. Meet us halfway, X, Y, and Z, whatever that looks like. But because they came in cussing you out, you don't gotta match their energy. You know what I'm saying? Well, we can let it fly up in here in the office. No, because I'm setting the tone. And I'm taking this school and these students and this whole administration, whatever, I'm taking us to where we ought to be. If y'all don't want to go there,
you may not make it.
It might be your last tenure.
Right.
The last one that I have, and this is based off of what you shared with me earlier, is to create space for open dialogue with your colleagues. So value the people that you have on your team. I think for all three, we have to get out of this mindset, whatever ethnicity or race you fall in, is we're just trying to make it through this time. We're just trying to make it through these unprecedented times. You set the tone for what you look like. Really, when it comes to the success of anything, it's 10% about what happens or what's going on and 90% about how you respond to it. So whatever side of a situation you face, or you find yourself on, the good, the bad, the ugly, the different, the way that you show up, the way that you pull up and what you put in is 9 times out of 10 what you're going to get out of it. And when you make that space and you create the open dialogue and you seek to be an individual who is open and who is ready for change, whatever that looks like, for the betterment and the benefit of every party involved, you're going to win every time. And so as I close out what I was saying, I was talking about self-care, and I really challenge people. I was at a women's conference last Mother's Day, and they asked me to get up and give words of advice. And I asked the people, I said, who are you? And I said, when you think about who you are, don't tell me that you're a wife. Don't tell me that you're a mom. Don't tell me that you are a business owner. Who are you at your core? And it's the same whether you are white, black, Hispanic, whether you are a woman, a man, whatever you decide that you are. Don't go by a title. Don't go by a credential. Go by who you are at your core. Go by who God says that you are. Because at the end of the day, the spaces that we occupy is so that we can do the work of the kingdom, so we can be effective, so we can be impactful. But if you don't know who you are, knowing who you are comes by way of spending time with yourself, spending time with God, opening up your word and reading, if you're a believer, different things like that. When you spend time with yourself and spend time with God, you'll begin to understand that there's more to you than like what you have to offer can come from just existing, and not because you are an administrator and not because you are a dad. Like, those are great things. I'm not taking away from that at all. You know, I think that those are great things, and that I'm pretty sure that you do it well. But there's more to you than just that. You know, so talk about it and live in who you are at your core, and that comes from self-care, that comes from open dialogue, that comes from pouring into yourself, that comes from creating those opportunities that generate wealth, that establish wealth, different things like that. So I hope what I said makes sense and that you guys are able to take something away from that.
Listen, that was a lot of diamonds. So I hope that you listened, took notes. If you needed to, you can even rewind and listen again, and then again, and then again. And then again. But yeah, listen, man, Kwayy, I appreciate you being on here. Man, this was more than I enjoyed this more than I thought I would, and I feel like those watching received even more as well. So I'm glad I enjoyed this episode, and I'm hoping everybody who got shouted out actually does take a look, right as well. But whether they got shouted out or not, I feel like everyone watching had some diamonds they could have pulled from this. So thank you for bringing that. Anything you want to say? Any last words, final words, any final shout outs, anything like that?
No, I'm gonna be on quiet. I done talked enough.
This is a perfect opportunity for you to talk, because this is an interview to highlight. Here we go. How can people get in contact with you? From music, what's your links, what's your stuff? They say, yo, I like her, I'm feeling her, maybe for photography or, you know, whatever. How can they contact you?
You can get in contact with me, or the best way to get in contact with me is through Instagram, which is only Kwayy Campaign. That's OWNLY KWAYY KMPGN. Or you can find me on Facebook at Kalyn Kwayy Lee. That's KALYN KWAYYLEE. When you get on there, you're gonna see that it's me. So it ain't no second guessing. But if you reach out to me on Messenger or in my DMs, I'll definitely respond to you. I'll shoot you my number for you to reach out to me and talk to me, whether it be for the music, whether it be for photography. I'm down to communicate with all of that. So yep, follow me. I follow back. I don't be on that trying to get my follower count up and decrease my following.
Gotta have my ratio just right.
Right. So
I gotta delete 3 people today.
Right. If you follow me, I would definitely follow you back or add you as a friend. So I ain't gonna make you wait too long.
Dope. So, also, all her contact information, what she just said, will be below in the description. So if you need to, just scroll down, click it, and you'll be good to go. Listen, man, I appreciate you, sis, coming out, man, doing your thing, blessing the people, loving on the people. And until next time, guys, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Tell them they should subscribe.
Like, share, comment, subscribe, tag 3 friends, send it to your mama, your uncle, your daddy, your cousin, neighbor, dog, and everybody else in between, because we was dropping some diamonds and they might want to add to their wealth, you know, add to their legacy. So.
And she said your dog, so make sure Sparky gets an opportunity to subscribe as well.
To watch. Sparky can learn something too.
All right, y'all, that's it, man. I'm your boy, Sean Gary, and we out of here. Peace.